Hey brothers, this is Paul Rinaldi and Trish Gilbert here again today with another video. We hope you're enjoying the insight that we're providing for our counterparts around the world. Today we have another special guest to speak to you about his country's aviation system and the air traffic control system. Our brother Paul Winstanley is the chair of the Air Traffic Controllers Union in the UK, and he's also the president of our Global Alliance. Paul, how is the aviation system and the air traffic controllers dealing with the worldwide pandemic?
Okay, so traffic levels in the United Kingdom, probably like elsewhere in the world, are down by some 90%. In some of our airfields, it's 100%. There's no movements whatsoever. So predominantly we're seeing nighttime traffic levels by day, and that's obviously had a massive effect on how we run the operations, both in towers and the two centres that we have here in the United Kingdom. Before I kind of go and expand on exactly how we're operating, just a reminder that we operate in a fully liberalised towers market here in the UK. So we're not just dealing with one ANSP when we're talking about conditions at work or rosters. We're talking about approximately about 60 ANSPs, which takes up quite a lot of time. For the vast majority, we have a really good relationship, and therefore we take the best practices of what we've done with the bigger ANSPs, in particular NATs, and we apply those across the ANSPs where we can. Obviously, the towers market, being a fully commercial market, is a little bit more different, and I'll expand on that in a few moments. So predominantly, when the crisis first hit and the traffic fell away, we started discussions with NATS, the biggest ANSP, around social distancing measures within facilities, and also matching staff to the fall in traffic demand. And I have to say that our work with the ANSPs, not just NATS, with everyone in terms of social distancing, has been really good. We're very fortunate. Certainly the two centres we have in the United Kingdom, we have ample workstations. It's a big modern building, both of them. We can separate the workforce in and out, so we have designated lanes. The canteens remain open, or staff restaurants remain open, but again, there's social distancing within those, limited menus, but we're still serving food. And people have there's marks on the floor so people can keep the requisite distance apart. So in the operation, we started initial conversations with NATS around following what was the Italian model, which in a sense was putting all the staff into a hat, mixing them up, and creating different watch pattern. We successfully fought that and persuaded them that to retain our current watch pattern, which is 5 watches, operating 6 days on, 4 days off, was the best way to do this. And in effect, we introduced standby shifts or on-call shifts. So to aid social distancing and to match the people with the traffic, in effect, our guys are working 1 day on, 1 day on call. But it's about 2/3 of the operation have been furloughed. Now, furloughing is a government scheme. It's called the COVID Job Retention Scheme. It's a government initiative. It means that industry, that's across the United Kingdom, can furlough staff, and the government will pay 80% of their salary up to £2,500 a month. So NATS and quite a few of the other NSPs have taken advantage of that and then furloughed some staff. So it's about 2/3 of controllers across NATS have been furloughed. They're furloughed for a 3-week period, and we rotate people through that 3 weeks to maintain an element of competency and confidence while still controlling the traffic we have. So I mentioned the other ANSPs before. NATS is it's part privatised, it's made a profit, and therefore does have some funds to see itself through this crisis, although like most businesses, cash flow is a problem at the moment. Other ANSPs have taken advantage of the furlough scheme, and particularly the small ones. They've not always made up that 80% of salary to 100%. So if you're a furloughed NATS ATCO, you're still on 100% pay. some of the smaller ANSPs, you're furloughed and you're on 80% pay. So there's been reductions in pay for controllers in some of the smaller NSPs, but not within NATS. But nowhere at the moment have we had any redundancies or job losses for air traffic control staff. On the political front, the furlough scheme has now been extended till October. There will be some changes to the rules, but we're yet to see those yet from the government. We've done two other things politically. We've written to the government around a change in ownership for NATS, in particular for the area side or the two centres, what you would call the en route and TRACON type facilities. And that's because our funding model is fundamentally broken during a crisis like this. We get our money from obviously charging the customer based on the number of aircraft that fly through our airspace. The problem with that, of course, is if we totally depend on traffic. If there's no traffic, then no one's paying Eurocontrol. Eurocontrol don't supply that NATS the money. Therefore, we have a cash flow problem. And ultimately, when people start flying again, it's only the customer, the airlines, who can make good that shortfall in money. So you don't have to be Einstein to work out that the model is fundamentally flawed. And because of that, at the beginning of this month, 6th of May, we wrote to the government to ask for a change in ownership and how NATS is structured, even if that is for a short to medium term while we get through this CV-19 crisis. And then the other thing we've done for airports is we've again written to the government to suggest an airport's capacity retention scheme, which is again a different way of deferring the payments towards our airport operators to allow some of our airports to survive this crisis. I think aviation generally is on a reset in the United Kingdom, probably around the world. And it'd be interesting to see if some of our regional airports actually survive. So that's kind of the overview of where we are in the United Kingdom.
We can't wait till we can have a glass of wine together very soon in the same room, whether it be at a NATCA event or in the United Kingdom. Again, we wish you the very, very best, and the same to all of your membership. Thank you. And yeah, I'd like to reciprocate that as well. On behalf of all the United Kingdom ATCOs and specialists that we represent, it's great having this bond across the pond and with our other international colleagues. And we'd like to wish you all the best as well. Stay strong and stay safe.